So, hey, teachers and students, and whoever come across this video in this earth, in this lifetime, or in another. I am incredibly sad, and I shouldn't be. There's no should or shouldn't. I don't believe in those things, but when I say that I shouldn't be, it's that I'm happier than ever. But I am also so sad. I am so sad. I am I am pretty much all about vulnerability in my teachings, in my life, in my relationships. I it's not like I don't believe in professionalism. I do. I believe in punctuality. I believe in doing a great job. I believe in performing an incredible I am sort of like a perfectionist with my job, not with my personal life, because I actually don't care about perfection. Like I don't judge people who do. I just not the most organized person, like in my personal life, but it's not like I'm not organized. I know where my things are. I think that's good enough. The reason why I'm recording this video is because I created this channel 2 years ago, almost 3 years ago, to to learn languages. And something that I have always done is to, with my teachers especially, is to talk about topics that are very close to my heart, things that bother me, or sometimes even to vent things. But since I have been working crazily, I have not been studying. I have been taking Spanish classes with my friend Mariana twice a week. But other than that, I am not really like taking classes regularly, and I should. I think, um, well, I I guess I'm recording this video. I want to record a session of video for teachers for English and Portuguese or whatever language you teacher, to give some tips and advices. Like in Brazil, we have a saying like, "Who are you in the line of bread?" Meaning, who do you think you are? I mean, I am no one, but I have been teaching for 8 years now, and I have been doing it quite a lot. I have been studying, and I have been trying to improve. I have been giving interviews, not to brag. I mean, but again, who am I in the line of bread? I am no one. I just happen to be a little bit of more experienced than some, and maybe these videos are going to be useful to you. Maybe they are not. So, if they're not useful, I'm so sorry. I just wish they were, but I know that some people identify with other types of teaching or living, and that's fine. That's why the world is beautiful. It is because it's diverse. So it's okay. All it's fine. So, the series of videos that I'm contemplating, and I love this word, I have been contemplating, um, is like some tips or advices, things that work for me, things that I have tried, but they haven't worked. Also, I have interviewed some teachers, some Portuguese teachers I want to share with you. I am not sure yet if I am going to create another channel for that. Definitely another channel will be created for the movie club project, but I just don't know. Maybe things would be organized if they are in different spaces, but it doesn't matter really. I'll think about that later. So I just wanted to talk to you on how to teach when you are sad, because that's how I feel like I feel right now. And I have been feeling sad for a while. My cat was diagnosed with jaw tumor. There are some things happening in my personal life, also like in my family. And today, um, the landlord asked for the apartment back. And one of the things that I consider like my grown up biggest accomplishment was the fact that I rented this apartment. This apartment is my dream. It is beautiful. It is lovely. It is not perfect. My brother said, "Oh, thank God, like we're moving," because he sees so many flaws in this apartment. Like the apartments in downtown, they're very old, so there is always someone here to fix something. But I mean, people would probably find a lot of flaws in this apartment, but I just happen to find this like the best place I have ever lived. Um, we have a balcony here. You can see a big, beautiful part of the city. And that's very rare downtown. Usually, all you can see is other buildings. You cannot see the horizon. Um, and I have improved in so many ways, like while living here. Um, One thing that I have never done was decoration. All my apartments, they were empty because I always thought, hey, why even bother if I'm going to go back home? But then I decided to decorate this, and it do look uh like um a tower house or whatever. It is a little bit bizarre because it is my first time decorating, and some things I even painted myself, like the walls. I wrote in the walls some Taylor Swift lyrics and some like songs lyrics that I love. So I need to return the apartment because the landlord wanted to live in it. Um, so it's fine. Something that is very interesting is the second law of Newton, the law of, I just know how to say in Portuguese, inertia, I don't know. It's so this law says that unless there is a movement, the the body, I just know in like the things they tend to be how they are. That's basically that. I don't know how to translate that. So this apartment is very expensive for a city like mine. It wasn't when I first rented. I mean, it was sort of like a bit, but I could afford it. I still can, but every year there is some, I don't know if I'm creating a word, readjustment. So I need to pay like 15% more, sometimes 10% more. Every year is different. So I already received the email saying that next year is going to be more expensive. And I thought, well, for as much as I love this apartment, as much as I love this, it is very expensive for this. But I'm still going to stay here because, I mean, moving is so stressful. Like, why would I move like over $100, right? Why should I? I'll stay here. It's okay. But it's I could live better in another place, but I wouldn't do anything. So my brother says it is actually good that they asked for the apartment back, because anyway, but I mean, I am the type of person that when something bad happens, not that I used to be. I still am a little bit, but it would be worse because you see, I had a group class today. I taught 5 individual private classes today, and I didn't fall apart, and they were great. They were well performed, and that's why I want to talk about this topic while I'm feeling it, because it is possible to work on days that we are feeling blue, um, because in the past I wouldn't be able to, but now I can. But so I'll try to teach you some techniques to work when the world is falling apart. Okay. So not to say that this is a huge problem. The apartment itself is the icing on the cake. I am dealing with other things that I don't feel comfortable mentioning, but there are things that are very heavy. So I'll just tell you about the cat that is already very upsetting because it's my first cat, and I have 6 cats, but this cat, this yellow, oh, crying little baby cat is my everything. So the fact that he had a tumor that was removed, the surgery was fine, but we still are waiting for the biopsy to let us know what type of cancer it was, what type of tumor it was. All right. And 30 days to move, it's almost Christmas. Um, just 30 days to find an apartment. That is very stressful. It's going to be very stressful. So, so here we are, right? So let's say you're a teacher, or if you're a student, it's fine. When I'm a student and I'm feeling sad, I cancel the lessons. I don't mind paying the teachers. I cancel. It's what I do. Not gonna lie, I cancel. I don't show up, but I let them know in advance, out of respect and everything. But as a teacher, you have a compromise. You have to be there. You cannot cancel a lesson because what I've learned so far with my life, at least, is that catastrophes, they happen in my life. They happen. Um, People leave. People are dramatic. I am dramatic. Have uh, I have something that I forgot, the premenstrual thing that is very stressful. So if I were to cancel every lesson because I have a little stress, that for many it wouldn't be little, it would be massive stress. But anyway, especially for men. Men can deal with us, women can. I'm sorry, I'm kidding. I'm not. I don't want to generalize. Okay, so teacher, so let's picture the scenario where I'm not talking about death. I'm talking about like being left. That's sad, isn't it? When you are in a relationship and someone decide decided decides not to be with you anymore. So not that that happened to me. Well, now it's not one of the problems I've been facing, but I have had that happening to me. Um, Happened to me, yes. So I what I do is I do something called micro hits. It is something from meditation. So let's say you were faced with terrible news, like you need to return your apartment within 30 days. So, and you have a lesson happening in 5 minutes. Actually, if I could give you a great advice and give myself the same, um, don't use your WhatsApp while you are working, because personal things, they tend to happen. People nowadays they say all sorts of things like through WhatsApp, and I have been questioning this. Like, why do we feel like we can't say everything by text? Because a conversation like that should happen like over the phone or in person, like or by email or something like more formal than a WhatsApp message. Because I tend to think that WhatsApp it is informal purely, but it isn't actually. People they do business through WhatsApp. So something that I advise for myself and for you, teacher, do not use your WhatsApp um, or whatever form, Telegram or text message while you are working. So let's say you are working, unless you have like an emergency in the family, someone in the hospital, I don't know, or kids, I don't know. It's different for everyone, right? But for me, I think that it would be best not to be in contact like with the outer world while I'm teaching, because the news arrive and they might um, create some sort of energy that I'm not needing. No one is. So, okay, so, but let's say you were faced with bad news. They just happen to reach you. So, the micro hits that I do is to focus on something other than my thoughts. So, for example, I can look at the wall and I can look at some form like there is a Y, O, U, something that I wrote. There are Meireles and Taylor Swift posters. So, a sort of meditation is looking at things and just seeing in your mind, see, 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 and actually seeing. If you hear something, you say hear. If you feel something, you say feel. So this is very grounding for me. And something else is to pay attention, actually living every moment like it was unique, because it is unique. So when I'm with a student, every form of life it's very complex. So when I'm with every student, I just want to learn from that person as much as I can, like genuinely, or I want them to have whatever they need from me. So whatever I have to offer, I will, and whatever they want to share. So it is something, an exchange. So that makes me focus and stop thinking about whatever is happening outside of the lesson. It's something that it took me a while to develop, um, but it, actually, it only came when I decided that being a teacher is a major part of who I am. It's basically who I am. I don't think we can switch off, like turn off like the teaching button. I'm always teaching people something, like even if it is like my parents how to do something, or I'm always wondering if I'm walking down the streets, I see some um, outdoors, I take pictures and I wonder how could I work with that with my students. I listen to a podcast, I think of my students. And in the beginning, it would be something that would bother me because I would be tired of always thinking of teaching. But now it's not tiring anymore. I just accept it. That is, it is who I am. You are a teacher. So thinking about, and I'm very creative. So thinking of ways, like new ways of teaching, it's something that I do. So when you are, it is true, when you're in love with what you do, um, it is almost like you don't have to work, because you do have to work, because you do have to prepare. So another advice is always be extra prepared. So if you plan your lessons, plan them in advance Because, so for example, today I had 5 individual private lessons, one-on-one, and I had a group lesson. So those lessons, they were prepared way ahead of time. They were already prepared like days ago. I close my calendar depending on how many lessons I have. So I already had 5 lessons on Sunday. So I they were planned. I don't work on, for example, on Fridays because on Fridays I plan lessons. I create material. So having things prepared, they give you space. So let's imagine that something happens, like I don't know anything. Like another thing that I learned is that things happen and we are human, and students also, they are human, so they understand. So the first thing is, don't feel bad if you are not, I have say so many first things, but don't feel bad if you're not at your best. Okay, so you can actually tell students, for as as much as you are professional, it's okay to tell the student you're not having a bad day. That doesn't mean that the lesson is going to be bad. It's just mean that you have this, because there are types of energy. Sometimes we are like on the go, but sometimes we are more quiet. So if you let them know what you're going through that day, they actually can relate, because you're human, they're human. So maybe one day they will be living the same situation. So they'll feel safe to share that with you. So I'm not talking about oversharing. I'm talking about, like, so for example, I I told not my group students, because I had 10 students. I couldn't, I guess, there were 10 or 12, I don't know. Um, I wouldn't tell them like, but for my individual students, when they asked me, how are you? I told them not very well. So the landlord asked for the apartment back. I have 30 days and not. And then we talked about that, how it is in your country. So you have only 30 days. Oh, actually, my country is very easy to rent a place. I can do that in a week, within a week. So we had a conversation about that, and it's fine. So always being honest, not pretending. Um, and naturally, I think the class, they go to where they need to go, but like being prepared with your like material ready, or if you just like, if you do conversation, you have your conversation. I don't know. I don't know how you organize yourself, but there are some things that we can plan ahead of time. So, but there are things that we cannot. So, for example, when my cat uh, were diagnosed with the tumor, I couldn't have lessons that day. I could have some, but some I couldn't, because I was shaking. Sometimes I was very anxious, and that was not the right way to be presented, like in front of a student. So I wrote them a very like honest message, telling them what happened briefly, and I asked them to reschedule the lesson. I offered them a 30 minutes free class. There are things we can do to keep our clients, our students, to show them that we care. So I tend to give free classes every now and then. I I do some things. So um, I guess keeping in mind that we are not always going to be or feel great, because that's how life is. It is okay to fall apart. It is okay not to wanting to be there. It is okay to cancel classes. Before, I would think that if I canceled a lesson, that would mean that my student would trade me for another teacher. Nowadays, I just want to be with the students who wants to take lessons with me. So it's more um, like lighter this way. If they don't come back, if they, for some reason, they like, if I cancel 2 lessons because my cat was sick and needed me, and they need to keep their learning going, so they find another teacher with whom they identified more. It's fine. I don't take that personally anymore. I think that students, they come and go. I have a very great relationship with my students, so they understand. But if they don't at one point, some situation, it's fine too. Um, you know, there is that song, "Oh, life, it's bigger, it's bigger than you and me." I forgot. It's something like that. So I wanna, what I mean by that, it's that, like, there are bigger things than um some things. So when we have someone sick, when we are sick ourselves, when we need to move within 30 days. So I think we shouldn't, I think we carry with us this blaming ourselves for everything. And if we take some of this blaming habits that we have, things get lighter somehow. And then the sadness remain. Like, I swear to you, I'm very sad. I am, but I am very proud of not be. When I say that I'm falling apart, it is a different kind of falling apart. It's a falling apart that allow me to be here and have like control of my thoughts, have things like, it's not being all over the place. Even if I say that is a way of speech, but it's not like I am all over the place. In the past, I would take um, medicines to sleep when I couldn't handle reality. But now I can. I just so and I don't even think it is unfair anymore. I just think that when you teach people, if you get as close as is possible as you allow yourself and your students to, you will realize that everyone, everyone you meet is facing something that it's very difficult for them. And sometimes we tend to like categorize problems and say that, oh, that problem is bigger, the other problem, no, no, no. But actually, for the ones who are carrying the problem, that is the biggest challenges of their lives. So, something that I would tell you, teacher, is allow yourself to be vulnerable. I know that for some cultures, that is not actually the way to act. I understand that. Uh, but it is easier not to put a mask and walk around. I think it's easier. For me, it's been very, very nice. But I mean, it is still difficult to realize that we have actually no control over anything, not even the place that we live. But things could be better. They could be worse, of course, but let's think that I will find a better apartment. Who knows? Maybe I'll be happier in another place. Maybe happiness is independently, it's not dependent on where you are. It's more like a state of mind. Maybe, just maybe. Um, yeah, so I just wanna share this with you, this day that I'm living. We all have bad days, good days, and it's okay to feel bad, sad, upset, frustrated. Um, the life goes on and we still need to show up. Um, yeah, responsibility, being adult, caring about what we do. So